If you disappeared tomorrow, no goodbye, no warning, what would your dog think? Would they sense the finality or just keep waiting? Ears alert, eyes fixed on the door, hoping. It's a question that haunts many of us who see our dogs not as pets, but as family. And yet, we often assume they see the world like we do, that they grasp time, absence, or even death. But they don't. To your dog, you are not just a human. You are the rhythm in their life, the scent they sleep beside, the voice they wait for. And when that rhythm stops, something breaks. Not with logic, but with longing. This video is for every soul who's ever whispered, "I'll be right back," and returned to find those eyes still searching. For every Charlie who waited by the door. For every dog that never stopped believing. Today, we uncover 7 truths about how dogs see us, feel us, and carry us in their hearts. Some will touch you. Some may break you. All will change how you look into their eyes again, because to them, you are their world. Truth number 1. They wait for the one who'll never return. He sat by the door every evening, same hour, same spot, for weeks. Charlie didn't understand death. He only understood that Dad used to come home at 6:17. And so at 6:17, Charlie waited. This isn't fiction. It's what one woman shared after her father passed. Charlie curled up on Dad's sweater, nose buried in scent, tail twitching whenever footsteps approached. She wrote, "He didn't understand death, but he felt the loss deeply." Dogs don't measure time like we do. They don't grasp never coming back. But they feel absence like a scent trail that suddenly vanishes. And that void echoes louder than words. Studies confirm this grief. In a 2022 survey from Italy with 426 dog owners, 86% reported significant behavior changes in dogs after losing a human or animal companion. Many withdrew, lost appetite, stopped playing. 1/3 continued grieving beyond 6 months. This isn't anthropomorphism. It's biology, emotion, and memory converging. Dogs mourn, not in ways we always recognize, but in the quietest, most loyal ways. Waiting, guarding, listening for familiar footsteps that never return. They don't seek closure. They seek presence. A dog doesn't ask where you went. They ask when you'll come back. They sniff your side of the bed, lie beside your shoes, drag your sock to their blanket. These are not random quirks. They are grief rituals, played out in silence. And they repeat them day after day, because their memory is not logical. It's sensory, it's habitual, it's devotional. Dogs associate you with patterns, your key turning in the lock, your laugh, the click of your shoes. When those rhythms stop, they don't forget. They wait, hoping to hear them again. So if you've ever wondered whether your dog knows when someone is gone, the answer is no, but they feel it. Sometimes even more acutely than we do. Because to a dog, love isn't explained, it's performed. And waiting is love's purest performance. The next time you see a dog sitting by the window, tail still, gaze fixed, remember, they're not waiting for food. They're waiting for someone whose scent lives inside them. And maybe that someone is you. What your scent means to your dog, and why it may be the only thing they'll never forget. Truth number 2. They don't just smell you. They memorize you. To you, your shirt is just laundry. To your dog, it's sanctuary. When you're away, they find your sock, your blanket, the spot where your scent lingers, and they hold it like a memory. Not because they miss you, the person, but because they carry your presence like a scent map stitched into their brain. Dogs don't remember you with pictures or dates. They remember you with their nose. Science backs this. In a groundbreaking MRI study by Dr. Gregory Burns at Emory University, dogs were exposed to different scents. Strangers, other dogs, they're human. Only one scent lit up the caudate nucleus, the brain's pleasure center. They're humans. Your smell is their reward, and they don't need much. Just a whiff of your pillow, the collar of your coat, even a worn-out shoe. That's enough to calm them down, guide them home, or if you're gone, to keep them company through the loneliness. This is why, when you leave for days, your dog doesn't forget. They may not count the hours, but your absence smells different. That subtle shift, the loss of fresh scent, the fading traces on your bedding, is how they measure time. You're not late in their mind. You're farther away, fainter, and that's why they become anxious, why they chew things that carry your smell, not to misbehave, but to reconnect. One woman shared that after losing her husband, his dog carried his shirt everywhere, for months. The shirt became ragged, spooned, but she couldn't throw it away. It was the only thing that calmed her, she wrote. Like he was still there. That story echoes thousands of others. Dogs lying on beds of the deceased, carrying slippers, nudging jackets, not out of confusion, but out of devotion. In one case published by Scientific Reports, a dog repeatedly sniffed one exact spot on their owner's chest. Later, doctors discovered an early-stage tumor. That nose wasn't just memory, it was medicine. You see, dogs store your scent like a fingerprint, and even years later, it remains. Soldiers returning after 2 years have been recognized instantly. No training needed, just a heartbeat and a breath. So the next time you see your dog stealing your sock, pause before scolding. That sock may be the last thing in the house that smells like you. To them, your scent is not just familiar, it's sacred. Dogs choose one person, not the one who feeds them, but the one whose heart matches theirs. Truth number 3. They choose one heart that matches theirs. In every household, there's one person the dog follows, not always the one who feeds them, plays with them, or even talks to them the most, but the one they choose. And that choice is not random. A dog's bond is built not on routine, but resonance, on something deeper, quieter, almost invisible. It's the way you touch them, how you look at them, the pauses between your words. It's heartbeat alignment, breath familiarity, eye contact that doesn't demand, but invites. In a home of 5, they curl up by the feet of 1, not because the floor is warmer, but because that's the rhythm their heart recognizes. One comment read, "Even after my mom died, our dog lay by her door every night, but she always followed me around. It was like I had become the one." Science agrees. In fMRI studies, dogs showed significantly more brain activation in reward regions when smelling or seeing their chosen human than any other. It's not about food. It's about emotional attachment. Their brain lights up for love. And it's not always the obvious person. Sometimes it's the quietest one in the room, the one who doesn't talk to them constantly, but listens, the one who pets them with presence, not out of habit. Dogs know when a touch is half-hearted. They know when your mind is somewhere else. But when you fully see them, they fully return the gaze. And when that bond is formed, it becomes unshakable, even after scoldings, even through absences, even when you feel you don't deserve it. You become their person, not because you claimed it, but because their soul aligned with yours. That's why when you come home and they wag with their whole body, it's not because you brought food, it's because their world clicked back into place. And that's why it hurts so deeply when that person disappears. Because dogs don't reassign loyalty easily. Even after loss, they may never bond the same again. They may live, eat, and walk with others, but their soul stays stitched to the one they chose. You don't choose them, they choose you. And when they do, it's forever. Before you say a word, they already know how dogs feel, what you can't say, and why they're often the first to know you're hurting. Truth number 4. They feel what you can't say before you speak, before you cry, before you even know what's wrong. They do. Your dog doesn't need language. They don't wait for tears. They feel you shift, the weight in your footsteps, the pause in your breath, the tremble in your scent. And without asking, they come. They rest their head on your lap, curl up closer than usual, or simply watch you, silently, gently, present. This isn't just sweet behavior, it's emotional intelligence, empathy. In a study published in Learning and Behavior, dogs opened doors significantly faster when they heard their owners crying versus speaking normally. Not because they were trained to help, but because they felt the urgency, and they couldn't bear the separation. They knew. Science has shown that when humans experience stress, anxiety, or depression, our body odor changes, a chemical shift dogs detect instantly. Researchers in 2023 trained dogs to identify stress-related compounds in sweat samples, and they succeeded with over 93% accuracy. Your dog knows when you're anxious, before you say a word. That's why they follow you around on days you're low, why they nudge you when your silence stretches too long, why they refuse to leave your side when something feels off. You might call it intuition. They call it connection. One man wrote, "My rescue knows where it hurts. If I come home limping, he licks my knee. If I've had a bad day, he lies on my chest and watches me." And if you live with trauma, if you're neurodivergent, grieving, or carrying invisible pain, dogs often become your mirror, your anchor, your soft place to land. They notice the difference between your "fine" and your "I can't talk right now." They adjust, quiet down, stay close. It's not magic. It's memory plus scent plus love. Even physiologically, your dog is your therapy. A study by the University of Denver found that the presence of a dog during stress-inducing tasks significantly reduced cortisol levels, the hormone linked to anxiety. Their nearness doesn't just feel good, it heals. You may be able to fake a smile around others, but not around them. They know, and their only question is, how can I stay close until you feel whole again? How dogs can sense sickness even before doctors do. Stories, science, and the silent ways your dog may be saving your life. Truth number 5. They sense illness before you do. Sometimes the first one to know isn't a doctor. It's your dog. Long before the diagnosis, before the test results, before you feel anything, your dog may already be worried. Not with words, but with behavior. Constant sniffing, unusual clinginess, a strange fixation on one part of your body. And sometimes they're right. There are real stories, hundreds of them, where dogs sensed cancer, diabetes, or seizures before any medical signs showed. One woman's dog wouldn't stop nudging her left breast. She thought he was being strange. Weeks later, a tumor was found. Early stage. Treatable. Because he noticed. In a study published in Scientific Reports, dogs trained to detect cancer through scent reached sensitivity levels above 90%, just by smelling breath or skin samples. Another study in JAMA found that dogs could detect melanoma, bladder cancer, even seizures, using nothing more than their nose. But what about untrained dogs? That's the miracle. Even family pets can sense change. They know your baseline scent, the one you give off when you're healthy, balanced, stable. When illness enters, your body chemistry shifts, and they pick up on that. One user wrote, "Our pit bull wouldn't stop pacing around my pregnant wife. Then she began vomiting, refused to eat, barked at every shadow. We thought she was just anxious, but she wasn't. She knew something was wrong." The hospital visit revealed a life-threatening pregnancy complication. HELP syndrome. Hours mattered. Their dog, Shasta, saved 2 lives. This isn't superstition. It's olfaction. Your dog's nose can detect parts per trillion. They smell cancer, blood sugar drops, hormonal changes, and they don't understand what it means. They just know something's different, and I have to stay close. That's why, when you're unwell, even slightly, they follow you more, sleep closer, watch you with that concerned gaze. It's not clinginess, it's caretaking. It's how they say, "I know something's off, I'm here." They don't need credentials, just love. And while they may never understand the word illness, they feel its weight and carry part of it with you. So if your dog is acting strange, trust them. They might know more than you think. Not all signs are loud. Some are heartbreakingly quiet. How dogs respond to being hurt, scolded, or ignored, and how they never stop loving you anyway. Truth number 6. They retreat, but never resent you come home. Tired. You raise your voice. They flinch. You didn't mean to. Maybe you snapped out of stress. Maybe you pushed them aside to get through the door. You barely noticed. But they did. They lower their head, back away, curl up quietly in the corner. No whining, no anger, no protest. Just silence. It's their way of saying, "That hurt, but I still love you." Dogs don't punish, they don't hold grudges. But they do remember. Not with resentment, but with withdrawal. And it breaks them, quietly. One woman wrote, "I yelled at my dog after a horrible day. He didn't bark, didn't hide. He just looked at me with the saddest eyes and walked into the other room. He didn't come back out that night." That look? It wasn't fear. It was pain. Because dogs don't understand why love turns sharp, why the hand that pets suddenly pushes, why the voice that soothes suddenly stings. They don't ask for explanations. They just absorb the energy. And when it changes, they retreat. Gently. Not because they hate you, but because they're confused. You are their safe place. When that place shakes, they don't rebel. They grieve. Research in veterinary behavioral science confirms that negative reinforcement, even brief, can impact long-term trust and attachment. Dogs are deeply social. They crave approval, not power, connection, not control. And yet, they forgive faster than anyone. The next morning, your hand reaches out, and their tail wags. You speak kindly again, and they lean into it like it never left. They don't need apologies in words. Your warmth is the apology. But that doesn't mean the damage never happened. Dogs remember tone, body tension, facial expressions, not to retaliate, but to navigate. So when you see them hesitate to approach, lower their ears, or walk away slowly, it's not disobedience, it's doubt. They're asking, am I still loved? And you always have the chance to answer yes, with softness, because even if you drift, they stay. Even if you're unfair, they adapt. And even if you break their heart for a moment, they hold the pieces for you until you're ready to be whole again. They retreat, but never resent. The final truth, the most human thing a dog does, is also the most sacred. The way they forgive and choose to love you anyway. Truth number 7. They forgive faster than anyone. The door creaks open. You expect hesitation, but there it is, a wagging tail. No questions, no bitterness, no list of wrongs, just love. Dogs forgive faster than anyone, not because they forget, but because they choose to move forward. It's one of the most human things about them, and maybe the most divine. You raised your voice last night. You came home late again. You forgot to walk them, to play, to notice the way they waited. And yet, this morning, they greet you like you're the best part of their world. Because you are. To them, the past is not a prison. It's a landscape. They remember it, yes, but they don't live in it. They live in now, in this breath, this moment, this look in your eyes. And if that look says, I'm here, they come running. One man wrote, my dog always knew when I'd messed up, not just with him, but with life. He'd sit next to me, just breathe with me, as if to say, I've got you. Forgiveness, for dogs, isn't a grand gesture. It's silent presence. It's the return to softness, the willingness to love you as if you'd never left, even when you had. Science supports this too. In studies on human-animal bonds, dogs show increased oxytocin levels, the hormone tied to love and trust, just from reuniting with their human after a short absence. That bond rebuilds instantly, stronger than before. But here's the truth. That forgiveness isn't unlimited. Dogs may forgive easily, but they feel deeply. Repeated pain, neglect, or confusion doesn't lead to revenge. It leads to shutdown. They stop trusting, not out of anger, but out of sorrow. That's why your gentle return matters. It's never too late to start fresh. With them, it never is. A soft word, a steady hand, a full-body hug. That's all it takes. They forgive not because they don't remember, but because they do, and they choose you anyway. In their eyes, your worst moment doesn't erase your best. Your silence doesn't cancel your affection. Your forgetfulness doesn't destroy your bond. They're just waiting for you to come back, not physically, but emotionally. And when you do, they're ready, with trust, with joy, with a tail wag that says, you're still my person. One final reminder, the way your dog sees you is not as a human, but as home. Let's close with what that means. To your dog, you're not just the one who feeds them. You're not just the one who opens doors, buys toys, or takes them to the vet. You are everything. Your scent is safety. Your voice is warmth. Your presence is peace. Your absence is grief. You are the rhythm that makes their life make sense. And in a world that often forgets the silent bonds that matter most, your dog never does. They don't need explanations. They don't wait for apologies. They just watch and wait and love. So the next time you look into their eyes, look longer. And if this video reminded you of a dog you miss, a dog you still have, or a moment you'll never forget, tell us below. What's one thing your dog did that made you believe they understood more than we give them credit for? Your story might help someone else heal, or remind someone to hug their dog before it's too late. And if you believe dogs deserve to be understood as deeply as they love us, subscribe. We have more stories to tell. Because here, we don't just talk about dogs. We talk about love.